I just came back from shopping. I went into town to shop for my graduation ceremony dress, and I'm just so hungry, I'm starving. So I thought, because this is a fall vlog, we're also going to make some delicious fall meals. I don't know. I'm just in the mood for pumpkin, to be honest. I really want to get into the pumpkin baked oven stuff, and I thought it would be a good idea to do that now because I have all the ingredients already. And yeah, so let's get started with that. I have some pumpkin here, good old butternut squash. I don't think that's actually pumpkin, is it? Well, it's delicious anyway. And then I've got some, no idea how these are called in English, but it's kind of like a root vegetable. And then I also have some potatoes because Germans just love potatoes, and I'm really glad that we are in potato season. Not that you couldn't eat potatoes any time of the year, but fall really is, for me, baked oven potato time. So that's what we're going to do. And I know that I'm going to be really hungry by the time that this food is finished, so I need to get started right now because I get so hangry. That's not a good look, so let's get started. Why do these have to be so difficult to cut? I hate it. Oh my god. And I know it's also my knife, but that's something that always bothers me when making pumpkin stuff. It's just too hard. To be honest, I can't do it. That's the only thing that keeps me from doing this more often, is that these are so hard to cut and it's really taking a lot of strength. It's not that hard actually, but the thought of doing it puts me off more than actually doing it. But it is delicious, so in the end it will be worth it. Oh, I forgot to preheat my oven, of course. That happens every single time. But yeah. So I've been in the city trying to find a dress for my graduation ceremony, and I actually found one, and I didn't expect that because it's the first time that I've been looking for dresses, and that usually takes me way longer because I'm really picky, and because I did study fashion design, I at least think that made me more picky than I was before. And I didn't expect it, but I found a dress that I really, really like, and it's so pretty. It's light blue, and I think the color really makes my eyes pop. And yeah, it was also on sale. Like, there was a huge sale, and that made it pretty affordable. I only paid like 100 euros, which is not a lot for an evening dress. So yeah, I'm really glad that I found that. And then the plan for tonight is doing some fall reading, and my plan is to continue reading the book by Julie Kaplan, the one that is set in Ireland, and also of course eating this when I'm finished. And then while I'm eating, I'm probably either going to watch YouTube. I have been watching a lot of YouTube and booktube actually in the past few weeks. I really just feel the need to catch up after not really being able to have a lot of free time in the last few months. So I've been obsessively watching all vlogs, and especially all fall themed vlogs, because I'm just so in the mood for everything fall. And that also kind of inspired me to do my own fall vlog. And then I also started watching fall themed TV shows, or not TV shows, Netflix. It's Netflix, to be honest. I've been watching Gilmore Girls, and then I also started rewatching Vampire Diaries, but both of these I got so not bored with them, but I already know these shows, so I wasn't really anticipating the things. There was no suspense for me in them, which kind of made it a bit... I'm not the biggest fan of rewatching shows. I still do it because I don't find anything new that excites me. That's why I tend to rewatch shows, because I want to get the same feeling back that I had when I first watched them. But to be honest, I wouldn't rewatch them if I found something better to watch, or something that would give me the same feeling of rewatching or watching the series for the first time. So then I ended up starting Virgin River, and I'm almost finished. I think I'm almost finished with season 1. And yeah, I have actually really enjoyed it, even though I thought that it would be more of a feel-good show. There's actually some really hard-hitting topics in there, and I have cried multiple times, even just watching the first season, so I don't know. And I don't know if I like where the plot is going right now, so we'll see about that. And yeah, I think I'm only going to watch Virgin River if I check YouTube and there's nothing new from the people that I regularly watch. And I've been watching a lot of Destiny Sitwell in the past few weeks, and also Heather and Chandler Ainsley. These are like my go-to booktubers at the moment. And I've been really liking the Animal Crossing streams by Destiny. I don't even play Animal Crossing myself, but I just think these are so cozy. Oh, and of course I also watched the book Leo. And she used to do some gaming streams as well, and I was also watching those, even though I have never played that game before. So I don't know, something about booktubers doing gaming streams really excites me. I don't know why. I just love watching those. Just really in a fall mood, fall recommendation videos, stuff like that. And because I started knitting, I've also been watching a lot of knitting videos and knitting recommendations, fall knitting vlogs, knitting ideas for fall. Not that I would be able to start any of those, because I don't know how to knit any of these patterns yet, but we'll see. Something about knitting just gives me all the cozy vibes, and I love that. Just love that. The weather has been really fall themed today. I feel like I have to turn on a lot of candles and all of the small lights in my room to kind of get into this cozy mood, because otherwise fall will feel depressing. And that's why I need to start turning on the candles and just getting some cozy vibes going and like romanticizing life. So that is the plan for tonight, which is, I guess other people would say that it's a really boring way to spend a Saturday evening, but for me that's actually exactly what I want to do, and exactly what I like doing on my weekends. I don't know. I know that other people like to go out and party or spend their time otherwise. And I also like spending time with my friends on weekends, but I just need some me time from time to time. Well, a lot of the time actually. So yeah, I'm done now with cutting all of the veggies, and I'm going to add some seasoning, some oil, and then this is ready to go in the oven. Just finished eating dinner. It was delicious, and now I got myself some beautiful candles and a glass of chocolate milk. I don't know, I've been really in the mood for chocolate milk for some reason the past few days, so chocolate milk it is. And I also got my little book here. It is The Cozy Cottage in Ireland by Julie Kaplan. I have loved this series of books for the past couple of years. They've been my cozy go-to reads, but I have read Croatia, the book about Croatia in the summer by Julie Kaplan. I've read it this summer and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. It was really disappointing. So I have already started this book and I like this so much better. It is about Hannah. Hannah is from Manchester and she tries to escape her boring day-to-day life and decides to take a cooking class in Ireland. then she meets this guy in Dublin where she stays only for the night, and she has this very out of character one night stand with him. And then they meet again at the hotel or whatever, where she does the cooking class. And there she meets his family and everything, and they just decide to not talk about it really and just be professional. And he even suspects that she might have followed him there, and so their relationship has a bit of a rocky start because he is a quite famous cook, but she just didn't know him before. And yeah, it's really interesting because I really like Hannah as a main character so far. She is a person who is very much stuck in her ways. She has this job as a lawyer, she's really professional and she's really good at what she does, but she has been at the same law firm for quite a while. She's been stuck in her just day-to-day life and doesn't like to get out of her comfort zone because of how her parents have lived and stuff from her past. So it really makes sense for her to be this character. And I have to say, I really like that this is such a slow burn romance, because I am this far into the book, so over the halfway point, and it hasn't really even started yet, I would say. So they have only begun to overcome their initial difficulties, and I like that, because if you have a rocky start with someone, I don't think it's this realistic to just then jump at each other and fall head over heels. And of course she plans to go back to her life in Manchester, and she actually got offered a job where she stays now, so some of her friends live quite close to this estate where she's taking the class at, and they have offered her a job at their law firm. So there has been some kind of hinting at what might come in the future, but you don't really see these two coming to any conclusions or like jumping into this thing without like really considering everything around them and their lives. And yeah, I really like that we get to see so much of their lives and we get to know them as characters before we get to know them together. But I am also curious to see how Julie Kaplan will try to bring all of this together in the last part of this book, because there's only so much left and there still is a lot that has to happen, and there are also some really interesting subplots and other characters that we get to know. And that is actually what I like so much about these books and about this whole series, is that a lot of the side characters are really interesting and they get their own little storylines as well, and that is something that I really like, that they aren't just props in the story. And of course all of the cozy feels. This has been so cozy because they're staying at this resort in Ireland, and it is a farm where they have to learn everything about slow cooking and about mindfulness, and that is very much what all of the series has been about and why I have gravitated so much towards it, because yeah, these things are just so cozy, and especially this one is great for fall because it's set in Ireland and yeah, the vibes are there. And I also like that the characters aren't easy or simple in any way, even the side characters. You get to see their flaws and a lot of the depth that comes with having a variety of different people come together from different countries and come together to do this cooking class, and maybe having some different backgrounds, having different upbringings, and how that might affect their way of taking part in this high-end cooking class. And yeah, that has been really enjoyable so far. I hope that it continues this way. And I have to say I like this one so much better, and I am so relieved, because I thought like maybe my streak with this author series is over because I didn't enjoy the last one. I thought, oh, maybe I'm just getting tired of it. But that's certainly not the case. I love this book so far. And now I will continue reading. no, we have a third act breakup. Who would have thought? Third act is actually, well, it's this far into the book, so we don't have much time left for this to actually wrap up and be done. But yeah, of course there has to be some kind of struggle, and it's one that you actually see coming from miles away from the very beginning of the book. Well, not the very beginning, but as soon as you know some stuff about the characters, you can see it coming. Which is fine though, I'm fine with it, it's nothing too dramatic, and because you see it coming, it's not like too unrealistic. At least the reason for it isn't too unrealistic the way it is written. I have to say, it is a bit clunky, the whole writing of this is... I don't think the characters would behave like that in real life. None of them actually, so yeah, it is a bit over the top and the characters are a bit wooden sometimes, but that's fine by me. I'm just there for the vibes and that's it. So I do still like the characters, but just sometimes the way they speak to each other and like the way this conflict plays out is so... It's actually a bit hilarious because it's like if they had just finished the sentences and he wouldn't have interrupted her, none of this would have happened. None of it. It's really stupid. But that's okay because that's the only way this conflict could have played out because it's so ridiculous and unnecessary, to be completely honest. So, yeah, I wish it would have had a little more depth to it, or a little more finesse in the way that it plays out, but it's fine, it's fine. It's just a silly, cute book. It's not... I didn't really expect anything else from it, so it's totally okay. And there were so many things that I did like that happened in the meantime. I did like the activities that the two main characters did together, the way they got to know each other better, the way they got to explore different parts of themselves as well, and also the insecurities that both of them have concerning the relationship and concerning like speaking about it and talking about their feelings, and the way they are conflicted about certain things in their lives, and just in general the insecurities they have, they feel very real. And yeah, I did like that so far. And I did like the places they travel to because that was really cool. And I also really enjoy the whole plot of Hannah learning to cook because she is really not doing great in the beginning, and that is something that I really like, that in her books, the characters aren't always good at what they do. Especially in this one, she's struggling so much. And I think that's really refreshing because a lot of times when we have a main character, they are so talented and good at everything, and then they learn to succeed at this new thing that they try, even though it has nothing to do with anything they've done ever in their whole life. She's a lawyer, so that cooking is just something entirely different from that, obviously. And she just does this very professional course, and she's not the one who's excelling at it. And as someone who also really likes to be good at everything that I try, and then having experiences where you don't succeed at the first try, or don't succeed even after trying it multiple times and having some experience at it, or stuff like cooking where just you think everybody should be able to do it, right? That is something that is very relatable to me, which is why I really like this main character. But I can also see how that might be an annoying trait for someone who is not like that. So yeah, but that is part of why I enjoy this story so much. I really don't have a lot of the book left. I think it's around 70 pages or something like that. I think maybe I can still finish it tonight, or I finish it tomorrow morning. And then I will continue with the next book. Still haven't decided what to pick up next, but probably I will start an audiobook tomorrow because I want to continue with my knitting a little bit. And tomorrow is Sunday, so I also have some time to just sit around and read. And then after I finish this one, I think I'm going to start Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. So that is something that I'm looking forward to already. But first I want to finish this, and I think there's going to be a lot of swoon-worthy moments in the end. So yeah, I'm excited. Cottage and Island by Julie Kaplan, and to be honest, the ending gave me more than I expected. There was actually a little bit of suspense in there and a nice little event to finish up the cooking course. So yeah, actually it was really cute and it wasn't too cheesy. Actually, the heroine actually called out the MMC for his romantic actions, and that was quite funny. I did like that because sometimes these can be so overdramatic, and yeah, that was cool. I did enjoy that. I didn't think there was like this whole dramatic scene where they make up or these misunderstandings get even worse or something like that. It was just, in my opinion, the right amount of making up and combining it with the rest of the plot. It just felt organic in the way that it happened, and overall I think it was really good book. Nothing too crazy or fancy, but just what I want to read in fall sometimes. A really cozy story that focuses a lot on the cozy aspects and on the atmosphere and the characters, and just overall a feel-good romance, I would say. So yeah, that was cute. And now I'm going to go to bed, and then we will start a new book tomorrow. I'm back. It is way later in the day than I expected to update you, but that's just what happens sometimes. I don't actually know what I did all day. Nothing special really. I was just on the phone with someone, and that's how it goes. It's almost 6 p.m. now, and I have literally done nothing all day. I slept in anyway, so I had a really late start into the day. I started listening to an audiobook. I started listening to The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. And let me tell you, this is such a cute book. The vibes are just exactly what I expected from a fall romance. And especially one like this, where I've seen it all over YouTube. And actually, I didn't think that I would read this book, because when I looked it up in my audiobook app, it said I had saved this book, but I saved the German version of it, and there it's called Meet Me in Autumn. And I just expected that to be an English book because the title is English, and I don't know why you would get the idea that it's a good idea to give an English title to a German version of an English book, but that's just what they decided to go with. I don't know why they didn't just keep the name The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, but maybe that's just what is better for the German market, I guess. So I had saved this book in autumn, and I decided to pick it up for this vlog but I didn't know it was the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And I had seen so much about the Pumpkin Spice Cafe already, and I never connected these two in my head because I didn't actually know any of the synopsis. I just know that it was a cozy fall romance. And then when I read the synopsis of the German version, I was like, this sounds good, this sounds interesting, and like something that I might enjoy. So it was on my list twice, actually, because I thought I would like this book without knowing it was the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And I knew I wanted to read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe because of all the hype around it. Long story short, I picked up this book and I started listening to it. I think I'm around 25%, something like that, into the book, maybe a little bit more. And so far it has been so cute. It has really made me giggle, and I've liked the main character so far. Our main character, Jeannie, she is a city girl and she has to move into this small town to take care of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which I think her aunt has left her, and now she has to take care of it, and she has multiple reasons to leave the city anyway. So she decided to go with it, and now she arrived in this small town and everybody is really nice and is really welcoming to her, and it's actually going a bit too well because it seems so easy for her to just go and run this cafe, which I believe is not as easy as you would think it is. And then she hears some weird noises around her cafe in the morning, and she thinks it's really scary. She thinks maybe it's a ghost, I don't know. And that's when she also meets Logan, and she thinks he might be an intruder because of the noises she has heard, but actually he's just the local farmer trying to bring his produce to her cafe. And yeah, so that's how these two meet, and he decides to stay the night with her in the cafe to figure out where the noises come from, and it's been so cute so far. But Logan also has a lot of issues with his past and his relationships in the past, because there's this girl that he actually wanted to marry and he proposed to her and she said no in front of the whole town, and she did that because she was also from a city and she couldn't imagine actually staying in the small town for a long time. So that's why he's very hesitant towards Jeannie and her being there and him finding her attractive maybe. So yeah, that's where we're at, and I think that's a very relatable struggle, why you might not be open to a relationship with someone or even just attraction to someone because they remind you of your ex or about something that your ex has done maybe. So yeah, it's been really cute, not anything deep. I think this is just going to be a really quick read for me, or quick listen because I'm listening to it as an audiobook. So yeah, my plan for the rest of the evening is listening to this audiobook and continuing with my knitting. I don't actually know if I will pick up the next physical book as well tonight or if I will do it tomorrow. I just have to see how it goes, how far I'll get into it this evening, and how my mood will be, if I'm in the mood for reading or just listening to audiobooks. I don't know yet, because I also still need to cook dinner and get ready for the week because it's Sunday and I have to work tomorrow. So yeah, I have to go to bed a little bit earlier, which will be a little bit difficult because I overslept this morning, and yeah, so I'm not really tired yet, but I at least want to try to go to bed early. We'll see how that goes. Probably not very well because that's been a struggle for me the last weeks. So yeah, sorry that I can't give you a more exciting update except for starting this book because I literally have done nothing today. But it's fine. It's fine. I did a lot yesterday and I was productive, and I'm still kind of recovering from the cold that I had, and I still have a bit of a cough, and it's been really, really annoying, and I hate being sick, and I was sick so often the last autumn and winter, and I really hope this isn't the start of another row of colds. So yeah, I'm trying to take things slow and not get into training and sports and just doing too much, because I tend to do that. Tend to stress myself out because I like having lots of things to do and having many hobbies, traveling all over the place, and trying not to do that this autumn. So I'm trying to take it really slow, eat some good food, go for some walks. I haven't been outside for a walk today actually, but now it's a little bit too late. So that's realistically not going to happen today. Maybe I can do a bit of yoga, but that's it. So yeah, that's going to be my evening. Not really anything exciting, but fall appropriate, I guess. Hello, so I just finished eating dinner and I continued listening to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which I have to say I'm getting a bit bored with it, which is such a shame because I had not high expectations for this book because I knew that it was a pretty simple romance going into it, but I just feel it's lacking something, and I'm noticing that I'm getting a bit tired while I'm listening to it, and that is not good. I don't know why. I don't really know why that is, because the story is okay. It's really giving the small town vibes, but I just feel like the book that I read before that, The Cozy Cottage in Ireland, it just gave me so much more. With all of the descriptions of the landscapes and the cooking classes, and there was like a coherent plot that was going forward, and here's just like these random things that are happening. It kind of feels like it's an episode of a TV show, but like we are already in the middle of it and there are more seasons to come, but that's not really the case here. So it's one finished book, even though it is, I think, part of a series of books. Doesn't matter because it's the first one. So I'm kind of a bit disappointed because it feels like the things that are written in there are just there for the vibes of it, for the fall vibes, for the small town vibes, but not really to bring the plot forward. For example, the two main characters are judging this Halloween costume competition, and it's really giving good fall vibes, but like, what is it actually doing for the story? Not much. So maybe these things just should have been connected better to what's going on in the story, because it actually has a decent subplot with somebody trying to sabotage her cafe or whatever, but I feel like that's just not going anywhere. And there are a lot of similarities between the book that I read before that and this one, and just having these two back to back, it kind of makes me realize that this could have been done better because it was in the other book. at least in my opinion. Because they also had somebody trying to sabotage the hotel that she was staying in. So yeah, I feel like the characters lack a bit of depth as well, because you do learn a little bit about their past, and especially in the beginning we had a good start with learning about why she quit her job and why she wanted to come to this small town, and also some things about her old job, and we learned a little bit about his farm, but then it kind of stops a bit. And to be honest, I don't really understand why these two people should really be together. I understand why she likes the town and why she wants to stay there and why she likes the community, and I understand why he is afraid of the relationship and why she thinks he's still hung up on his ex, which is also, there could be a little more communication about these issues. So we have all these things, but then it's not really explained why these two should be together, except for him taking good care of her and him worrying about her and about what's going on with her cafe. So yeah, she is different from his ex, but still that doesn't necessarily make you two compatible. I don't really care about the characters as much as I want to, and that is kind of a bit sad actually, because I really wanted to enjoy this so much. It's not that it's a bad book, it's just a bit boring to me right now. So I don't know if I should take a break from it and then come back tomorrow, or if I should just continue listening and finish it, because I have like an hour left in the audiobook, at least at the speed I'm listening at. So I could technically finish it tonight, but I don't know if it's a good idea to push through it, or if it would be better to take some time. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'm going to finish it tonight, or I will just do something else this evening, because I have the feeling if I keep reading this, I might end up in a book slump, which is not good. That's not what we want here. Yeah. So if I wasn't that far into the book, I might even consider DNFing it, because it's just really not giving me anything. And in the beginning I was really swooning. I don't know what happened there in the middle. Maybe it's just me getting tired as well. Which is really weird, because I slept in, as I said before, I overslept today, and yeah, so I don't really know why I'm getting tired or why I'm getting bored. I feel like I'm just having a bit of a weird day today. So I think what I'm going to do is at least taking a short break, going to watch some YouTube or Netflix, eating a cookie, and that is going to make my life a lot better, and then I'll see if I want to continue listening tonight or tomorrow. Hi, welcome back. So it is actually pretty late at night. It is 10 p.m. and I don't know how that happened. Actually, I do know. I was so tired after work, because it's a Monday, I guess that's just it, that I had to take a nap. And then that nap was like an hour long. And then after that I still had to go grocery shopping and make dinner, and I did something a little more complicated. I did like an oven baked pasta with pumpkin recipe, because I still had leftover pumpkin from the dish that I made on Saturday. So yeah, that meant that I had to spend a lot of time cooking, but it was really delicious, so it was worth it. Also, I did finish listening to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, when we're on the topic of pumpkins. So yeah, I finished that yesterday evening, but I don't really have anything new to say. I already said that I think it's a fine book, but I really don't have many thoughts about it, and also about the ending. It's just, yeah, it's fine. It's cute. It kind of feels like it is very Gilmore Girls themed, and I guess that's what the whole vibe is, what the author is going for. I mean, also their name is Gilmore, so I'm wondering if that is her real name. Probably not. So yeah, that was that book. And the only thing that I find interesting about this is that the hype around this is so huge. And I think it's really interesting because that doesn't really tell me much about the book, but it tells me more something about all of the small town romance vibes, and that we're really romanticizing small towns right now and the life that you live in these small towns. Opposed to the earlier days where stuff like Sex and the City was so popular and you would always dream of going to New York or London or this big city that you would live in. And that was the dream, that you could be there and live there. And I think it is because stuff just got so expensive that that is not attainable anymore, for most people at least. Even with the job in that city, you can't really afford to live there. That we're so turned off by the idea of that. And also the idea of all this loud noise, all of the hustle culture as well. That there is this huge trend of just wanting to go back to a simple life, to not being online all the time, to not being connected all the time, having to do stuff, being present, being social, all of these things. That is just so much pressure. And right now people are just dreaming of going back to a small town where there's real connection, where people get to know each other offline, where you have this community surrounding you, where people are supporting each other, where you have a walkable community as well, even though that wasn't really the case in this book, I guess, because they used cars all the time. But yeah, still part of the trend of having local produce as well, of sustainability, all these things that we would wish we would have in our lives. That is kind of the dream right now, also literature. And I think that's so interesting because these literary trends really reflect what's going on in the society right now, and I can really relate to that. And that is also part of why I enjoy these books so much, because it sounds like a dream life, and probably if you were to live in a small town, you wouldn't even enjoy it that much because people gossip all the time, and as a stranger they aren't as welcoming and friendly. At least that is my experience sometimes. But I definitely get where all of these dreams are coming from. So, all of that aside, I finished that book. I had some thoughts about it, but more about like the cultural relevance of these types of books rather than the book itself. So yeah, that was interesting. But now I'm ready to move on to the next book, and that is going to be Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. And actually I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to start this book, but just because it's so long and it kind of makes me dread reading it a little bit, because the Pumpkin Spice Cafe just really wore me out a little bit, I have to be honest. This is like almost 400 pages, around 400 pages, and yeah, I don't know, but I still want to start it, just because I think if I stop reading now I might get into a rereading slump. So I want to continue with the next book straight away so that I don't get into this like pause moment. Just keep things going. But because it's already so late at night, I probably won't get very far into this today. I think I have about an hour that I can still read, so I don't read that fast. Maybe I will get 50 pages in, but that's just, even that would be a good number, because later at night I don't tend to read as fast. Yeah, and I also still have a little dessert that I want to eat, a little sweet treat. These are the two things that I still want to get done today: eat my sweet treat and start this book. Okay, let's do a little taste test. I have this sweet treat. It is apple caramel cinnamon something. I don't even know what it is. It seems to be like some kind of cream, and then on the bottom we have some dough-like stuff, and then on top there's the apple caramel cinnamon cream. And while we're tasting that, I'm going to tell you about the book that I've started. So I started reading Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, and I am so glad I still did that tonight, because it really took me right out of my reading slump. I'm so into it. It is so interesting, and like sometimes when I read books that are maybe a bit more mediocre, I'm like, do I even still like reading romance books? And then I start a book like this and I'm like, oh my god, I love it. That is why I'm reading romance. That is what I love about it. And actually I'm only around 50 pages in and I'm already hooked. I am so hooked. Not in the most positive romantic way, because we just learned about her ex-boyfriend and I really want to punch him in the face. I hate that guy. I hate him so much, and it's just so many emotions already. Even just in the first few pages, I am feeling a lot of things, and the writing is just so good. It's so much better. It just really makes me feel for the characters. It makes me feel like the story means something, like it is original, like there's a lot of thought that went into it. And okay, let me try this now. This tastes like a mixture of cinnamon rolls and cake, and also, of course, cream. That is delicious. It's very, very sweet, but I like it. So yeah, in the first few chapters we learn quite a lot about our main character. We learn about her job, which is being a ghostwriter, which is so interesting, and all of the things that are being said about the publishing industry. And yeah, it just feels really authentic, which is a bit obvious because it is written by an author and she probably has some experience with the publishing industry, but still it is written in a way that is really relatable as well, because the writer started out as a fanfiction writer and she has kind of also like an imposter syndrome. She's not finishing her work on time, and it's just, there's a lot of depth to her and her story and her relationship with her family. We already get introduced to them as well. We learn about her being able to see ghosts and how that came about, and like also her kind of anxiety that is connected to that because of some stories that happened when she was still a child, and that happened back in her hometown. God, that is good. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is already going on. And then we also learn that she doesn't believe in love anymore because of her fucking idiot ex-boyfriend. I hate this guy. I honestly hope that something bad will happen to him in this book, because if it doesn't, I don't know, I want revenge. And then we also learn about her friendship with her flatmate. So good. Also, what she's doing in her free time, how her relationship works. It all makes sense. It just fits the character so well. And I love that when authors really do great character studies and are just good at observing people and how different types of people work and how they might behave. Because I read one of this author's books in the beginning of the year, and the characters, they both live in New York City, I believe, but they feel like their own persons. They don't feel like they're just cardboard cutout flat people, but these two feel like real people that you could meet in New York. So yeah, I'm really excited for how this book will continue. Tomorrow I will not be able to continue reading it probably, because I already have plans on what I want to do after work. So my evening is packed, and that means that I will probably only be able to continue reading this on Wednesday, and I will update you on Wednesday. But now I'm actually excited for it, so that is a plus. Oh my god, my friend just texted me. She's continuously texting me because she's reading the first Crescent City book right now, and I have kind of made her not start the series. She's also an avid reader, so she knew about the she knew about Sarah J Maas, and she started reading Akota and Throne of Glass, and now she is on to Crescent City. And I'm so excited that I finally have someone in my life I can talk to about this book, because I love it so much. It's one of my favorite fantasy books. So I'm so excited about this, and we're continuously like sending back and forth voice memos about our thoughts and feelings. Because I'm also reading Throne of Glass, the 5th and 6th book, the tandem read. I'm reading that right now as well. I'm listening to it as an audiobook. So she has already finished the Throne of Glass series. I've already finished Crescent City, so we are like sending back and forth our thoughts, and that's so funny that it's kind of the same universe as well, and we're just really hyped for each other about what's going to happen in these books. It's so much fun. I love that. It has been really fun to have her to read this with, and just I like talking about books on the internet a lot, but it's just so nice if you have someone that you can instantly message. And with YouTube it sometimes takes a lot of time to like edit a video and then put it out, and then you only get the feedback after you finish the book. So I'm really happy that I can talk to her about that. But I honestly think that after we've both finished the series, I need to find something else that I can read with other people, in like a book club or something, just to have this more instant connection. And I really like that kind of communicating about books as well. So I really hope that I can find a way to continue this. So yeah. These are my thoughts for today. I'm going to finish this dessert and then I'm going to go to bed, which probably isn't the wisest decision to eat like something full of sugar right before going to bed. But anyways, that and starting the book made my evening so much better, so I have no regrets. Except for tomorrow morning I will have regrets because it's way too late. But anyways, I will see you on Wednesday. Ellie Hazelwood and I have one thing in common. We both love this book. At least that's what she says on the cover right here. I have gone through this book so quickly yesterday. I'm now halfway done with it, and it is so good. This book is like, it really makes me think like, this is why I love reading. Everything in this book is just so good. It's just so fun to read. I love it. And it has the perfect fall vibes. It really gives like the spooky energy without being too annoying, or like the spooky stuff is part of the plot and it doesn't feel like it was just added for the vibe of it, but it feels like it's like legitimately important for the plot. And I love that. I love that so much. I love the interactions between our two main characters. I love how at first they can't really stand each other, or like they have this work relationship and therefore it's really a bit awkward. And now I'm at the point where she's back in her hometown and she sees him as a ghost, and it's just so good. I love the whole family dynamic in this as well, because that is actually like the more important part of it right now. The relationship between her and her family and how they deal with the situation that is going on, which I'm not going to tell you what it is because that would be a little bit of a spoiler. But yeah, we have this situation why she needs to go back to her hometown, and then the guy turns up at the front door of her parents' house, and he turns out to be a ghost, and she's like, what the fuck, that can't be, why are you here? And then he doesn't know that he is dead, and she kind of tells him that and lets him know. And because most of the time it is the case that the ghost needs something from her, that she needs to do something for the ghosts so they can go peacefully, because they have this mission that they need to accomplish. And he says his mission is maybe to make her believe in love again. So that is what's happening so far. But she says, no, that can't really be the case because most of the time I need to do missions for the dead. And you're telling me now that you need to do a mission for me, which is not the case. That's not how it works. So that said, then we also have a lot of small town vibes and like a really difficult family situation. And I love the way that she interacts with her siblings and all the people in this town. It's kind of cozy, but like in this really weird way. It's really giving spooky vibes, but not in like the too cutesy way, but also not in the way that is too scary or anything. And the themes that are being dealt with in this book are kind of similar to the ones in The 7 Year Slip, if you have read that. So both of the times I didn't really know that it was coming, and I'm really wondering if that is kind of the specialty of this author, or if she went through something like that and that's why she keeps writing about it. I mean, totally understandable. And yeah, really, just really good, really well written. And it's so fun to read because there's so much more going on in this than in the last 2 books that I read. This just has so much more plot and like substance in the storyline. So yeah, this has been all over the place. I've just been rambling without being coherent, but I'm just too excited about this book. So yeah, that's what's happened so far. And I really have this theory of how the relationship between the 2 main characters might end and how this whole thing gets resolved because he's dead. So yeah. Don't know if I should tell you about this because if I'm right and I say I'm right, it's going to spoil something, and if I'm not right, then if you have the same conclusion that I have right now, then and I say I'm not right, then you would know that you're also not right. So I'm not going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you in the end if what I thought was going to happen is going to happen. If that makes any sense, I don't know. But I just have this theory and I'm going to tell you in the end if I was right or not. Oh my god, why can't you just say that? Yeah, so I'm really excited that I'm reading this book. I really want to continue it, but first I have to have dinner because I had a really long work day and I'm starving. My tummy hurts from being so hungry. So first of all, I need to eat, and then I take a shower, and then I can start reading again, which is really a struggle because all I wanted to do today, the whole workday, I was thinking about like, when can I pick this book back up? When can I read this again? And that is such a good sign. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm really happy about this reading vlog so far because all of these books have been really good. I mean, the second one wasn't as good, but still, it was a decent book, and like all of these have matched the vibe that I was going for. Even though this one is a little bit different. But even in this one, we have now moved from New York to the small town again. So yeah, it all fits. And I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy about these books in general and the stories and the writing, yeah. But so far, I would say this one is my favorite out of the 3, which is really nice to end on such a high note. I hope the rest of the book will live up to what I'm thinking what's going to happen. So yeah, even if my theory is correct and like there's a bit of suspense going on there, but even if my theory is correct, I would be mad about it. I would actually love that. So I really hope this one has a good and powerful ending. And at first I was like, this book is a bit thick. It has quite a lot of pages. It's pretty normal for a romance book, I would say, but some of them tend to be on the shorter side. So now I'm really happy that this book is so long because it just means that I can read more of this. Yeah, so that are my thoughts right now. I just love this so much. It's so good. I don't know if it's just because I like the whole fall vibe so much and the whole season, and that is just something that speaks to me personally, that I love all of these books, or if it's the books that I've chosen in particular that make me feel that way. But anyways, I'm just really happy. work, I made these cookies to bring to this breakfast that we had. And honestly, I don't think my colleagues liked them that much because they only ate like, I think only 3 people ate a cookie and they didn't take a second one. But I just say I can understand that because these cookies were so sweet. Oh my god. The recipe I made was the Taylor Swift chai cookie recipe, and of course, because it's a Taylor Swift recipe, I had to try it, and it's really famous, blah blah blah. Yeah, way too sweet. I don't know if it's like an American thing or if I just got the measurements wrong, because I had to do the math of taking cups and then converting it to grams. Whatever it was, I don't think I'm going to make these again, even though the chai part of them was delicious, so maybe I can try and make them way less sweet, but I don't really know. Yeah, maybe I'll just find another cookie recipe and then add chai to it. Anyways, you're here for the reading. I finished The Dead Romantics, and I have to say I really liked this book. It was so good, but I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars because there was just something that didn't hit the same for me as The 7-Year Slip. So yeah, I just thought that maybe the ending was a bit too predictable. It ended up being what I thought it was going to be. And as I said, I wouldn't mind it. And I didn't mind it because I really liked this as the ending, but maybe she could have hinted at it less so that it would have been like a bigger surprise in the end. And just overall, I thought the male main character lacked a bit in just character building. I thought there was going to be a little bit more there and that there was more to come. I did think it was really sweet, and I liked the way these two connected over books and about their shared passion, but I would have liked to also have seen this even more detailed so that they would talk like really detailed about work stuff or like the things that connect them in the publishing world, or like just like a very clear shared topic. And then there was another plot twist that I didn't see coming. And I didn't really, it was a bit cheesy, to be honest. So, there were a few things, but overall the writing style was really good. I thought it was so funny. I liked the family aspects in it a lot. I liked the small town and I liked the side characters. So overall, still love this, but just a few minor points that could have been different. So yeah, that was my final update. I hope you enjoyed this fall vlog. I'm having such a good time in this season and I'm really enjoying it. And I hope I can continue with this mood and this positivity into the darker days and the colder season. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. See you in my next video. Bye!